Yes, hello, welcome back to another episode. Alrighty, this will be the review of Richmond versus Sydney. Was not the best game to watch. I think we all can agree it was a bloodbath. The damn wall broke. Richmond finally got a 100-point loss in the last. I don't know if Adam Uze's actually had a 100-point loss. Maybe he did in 2024. I can't remember off the top of my head. I know we didn't get one in 2025, so it's the first one in 2026. Richmond did lose 88-56 to 25-20, 170, down by 114 points. Now, albeit, people will say, why is Adam Uze getting away with this loss and not copping much heat? I did see that by David King. I think I would like to just defend Adam Uze on his behalf. You were going up against probably the best midfield and nearly the best forward line in the competition in the Sydney Swans. They have the best ball movement. I think they're the top 3 team from scoring from turnovers as well. I know they're missing a few of their stars, but their system has been drilled into a lot of these guys for a large period of time. Richmond have, I think, 18 players on the injury list. That is now stretched out to, I think, to almost 21, with Samson Ryan and Jack Ross having concussion signs over the weekend. So that's going to be even a longer list. I don't know what they would expect Richmond to do. We are still too slow. And Adam Uze, to my opinion, is just using what he has. Unfortunately, right now, he doesn't have all the Ferraris out on the field that he would like to. So that was that's a little bat I'm going to go out for Adam Uze. I don't know what they expect him to do with 60% of your team pretty much injured, and you're going up against, a team that just lost against Geelong, so they were bound to have a bounce back game, and unfortunately Richmond copped the end of it at the SCG as well. So it wasn't like this was at the MCG. This was at Sydney's home game after they've just got smashed. But let's talk about the game. We've sort of given Adam Uze a bit of a defence, but will be some things we need to discuss. The first quarter, I did enjoy watching the first quarter. Only we did score. And we kept scoring in different ways, like set shots, a couple of crumbs as well, from the front and the back, which I did love to see. I feel like we don't see that enough as a club. Jasper Alga's little crumb from the back of the contest, and then Tyler Sunsy's crumb from the front of the contest, and I really wish we see that more often. I think that should be something should be in our DNA. Richmond was so well known for that back in, obviously, their dynasty area. Now, I know it's the dynasty area, but I felt like we've gone away from that style of football. I think we need to go back to a bit more. But what was more annoying is, yes, in the first quarter we did kick 4 goals, but we just leaked too many turnovers, and then allowed the Swans to get on the run. And in my opinion, once the Swans got on a free run, it was like we had no answer. I don't know if it's because we're playing this flooding game where we try and flood, the middle, the forward, or the back. But when teams get over that flooding system, it's just an open wall. And you leave players like Luke Traynor up against Charlie Curnow, who really shouldn't be doing that. Maybe not right now in his career. I think Luke Traynor needs a few more years in the gym to be able to match the strength of a Charlie Curnow. And it's just really unfair to them. We were also a bit shorter. I definitely say we were a bit shorter in our midfield. We definitely needed Campbell Gray in there as well. I think the tallest player was Ben Miller. After that, it goes straight down to Luke Traynor. And then after that, everyone's under 190, so we were really undersized. That sort of annoyed me. Richmond should have known that coming in. We may have had to play some taller players, or Noah couldn't play as a ruck. I really thought he was going to play as a defender to sort of help mitigate the Joel Amati, Hayden McLean, and Charlie Curnow. Those rules really, and then Connor as well. Those real big talls, and they played 4 talls, which is unusual most of the time. But I guess the idea was that they knew they could do it against such a young Richmond side. Turnovers really did kill us. I really think we all could see that. Some of them were simple kicks, or we were doing really weird long down the lines to 2-on-1, and it was on repeat. Also, the commentators was talking about this as well. Why does Richmond keep going down the same wing into the same contest, and every single time we were just outmarked? No offense to our forwards, but a lot of times it was being kicked to 2-on-1. So the Swans were just outnumbering us, and it was just coming back in as easy. And as we know, our defense can only hold up for so long. And, pretty much the second quarter we saw that they ended up kicking 7 goals. And I think we struggled. We kicked 3 goals in the second quarter. It was just a damn well open. The other one I want to talk about is inside 50s. That really started to frustrate me. Now, I'm not going to name anybody. I think you all watched the game. If not, jump on again and watch the game. I know it's hard to watch, but too many times when we were going inside 50, we wouldn't hit our target. For some reason, we were going past them, so the boys would lead up to a small lead, and we would kick it over their head. And McCarthy would just pluck them all day. He was having a field day of marking in that. I would love to know how many marks they took in their defensive 50, because it was just either we were over their head, or there was a few times, I don't know what happened, is the boys would be leading towards the 50, and we would kick it to the pocket, and was nowhere near anyone on our team. It wasn't even like, hey, we'll give you a chance for one-on-one. It was just blasting it away into the forward line. So we got smashed on that. That really sort of hurt me. And look, probably can look up some team stats. They're gonna tell a big story. Disposals, we lost by over 113, which did not surprise me considering how well they have their link-up handball. That meters gained by handball over the top we sort of tried to match it. I felt like we tried to match their game style in the first quarter, and we still were losing by 20 points in the first quarter, and it showed that we just don't have the cattle, the experience, and some full quality around the ground. Their quality around the ground is just insane. And we're playing plays that, if there was a full squad, we can be honest, some of these guys wouldn't be getting games right now because they're just not at that stage of development to be playing. So that was a big one. Inside 50 count was 73 to 47. So we were at our season average, and they were 10 inside 50s above their season average. So it was just a field day for them. And then you could even look at inside 50 effectiveness. We were 38%, down from our 44. And they were 50 there. They were 63%, up 10% from their season average. So even when they were going inside 50, the accuracy was just insane. Free kick count, we won by 1. And I will say there was a few times that I don't know how many times you can break a tackle and get tackled and then drop the ball. And it was back-to-back times in a row. I think it was in our forward 50 where we laid 2 players laid a tackle. Don't know how the player can get the ball out, and they called play on, and then as soon as we get it, as soon as we got the ball, tackled, dragged to the ground, and they called holding the ball. So as we've said before, it's not about the free kicks you get. Sometimes it's about when and where. It took the sting out of the game for us, because there was times where we were laying some really good tackles, and it was a pack mentality tackle, and you definitely go, well, you defended one, the other one got ya. And then the other player came and joined along, and they just called ball up. I'm like, well, your prior's gone. You've tried to spin out of that first one. Hit-outs we lost, which is a really concern. And I've said this the last month. And I know we've won a game and been in a bit closer to them, but this shows you again. And we weren't even playing their best ruckman, which is really what's concerning. So 34 hit-outs to 16. So we were below our average, and they were below theirs. But really, how many hit-outs do you need when you can just win off the other team as well? So clearances, we lost by 2. Centre clearances, we lost by 2. And stoppages, we tied. So that's not too bad. You can see the Gumboot brigade was working to sort of balance that out. But unfortunately, as usual, the clearances aren't high-quality ones. Dominated uncontestants, our turnovers were horrible this week. 74, our average is 76. So, we're up a fair bit. And they were down over about, they were down by 13. So they're down, and they were cleaner. And that's very understandable. We can sort of understand that. Marks, they smashed us. Marks inside 50, 26 to 5. So like I was saying before, when we delivered inside 50, it was just poor inside 50 delivery. And I think that's an effect of not having our leader, Tom Lynch. I think we all can say, look, having Tom Lynch wouldn't have made us win a game or be closer. But I think the structure would have been a lot better, and you wouldn't have had to have McKelty the foul and Liam Fawcett having the best defenders on them. They would have got the second or third, and maybe that would have been a bit more helpful. But unfortunately, that sort of didn't go that way. Look, and we did win tackle count, which you probably should considering you're chasing arse all day. But they won tackle count inside 50. So they had 13 tackles inside their 50 to our 4. So we couldn't cause that pressure constantly. At the same time, how can you maintain a higher pressure rate if you just never have the ball in your hands, which is a real stinger. Now, look, there wasn't, as I said earlier, wasn't some major positives, but I think I can take some positives out of some players' games. Not everyone. So, look, Jacob Hopper had 25 disposals, 5 clearances, and 403 metres gained. Probably his most composed game, not his best game still, but it's not the Hopper we knew from 2025. But I felt this week he was a lot more cleaner and a little bit less sort of blasting away. So I don't know whether he's finally feeling he's a bit better from injury or something, but not horrible. Tim Taranto had 24 disposals, Presti had 20, Jack Ross had 18. So really what really does concern me is the 4 names I just read out. They're our top disposal getters. And as I recall, those top 4 played most minutes inside 50, but also had a low time on ground stat, which is really confusing why they had that. Jacob Hopper had 69% time on ground. Taranto was 82. Dion was 69, and so was Jack Ross. So, like, there's 3 of your midfielders that are playing no more than 70% time on ground. But I looked at the CBAs, and it was mostly dominated by Hopper, Taranto, and Ross, then Seth Campbell, and then Tim Taranto. And that's a big concern because we're going back to the same thing we know that doesn't work. And I forgot to do my 3 keys on the weekend before the game started, but would have been one of my 3 keys was you cannot play all 4 of these players in the same team, especially going up against, say, a club like Sydney, who most of their midfielders are all fast. They all have a real good set of pace. And the only one we put in there that had a bit of pace was Seth Campbell. And that's just not enough. And I really think we need to start to go away from that. Maybe not this season, but I believe at the season ends, I think Prestia and Hopper need to be out of this team to sort of force Adam Uze's hands to play faster midfielders. Banks had 17 disposals off his injury, which is good. Jaden Short had 17. Sonzi had 16 and a goal. Good crumbing goal. Still not his best game, but they were under constant pressure. Grill was 16 disposals, 350 metres gained. Probably a real quiet game, which, like I said, really doesn't surprise me. He spent most of his day chasing tail. Sam Cumming, he had a really good game in my personal opinion. He had 16 disposals and a goal. He's nearly at the stage of what I saw for Sam Lawler. This is how I rate him. Sam Lawler, if you look at his career, he averages about between 16 and 18 disposals and a goal per game. Sam Cumming is really starting to fine-tune himself to the exact same as Sam Lawler, where he gets between 16 and 18 disposals and kicks a goal per game. So, which is great because it means when he goes forward, he's damaging. And now you're going to have that duo with, obviously, when Lawler gets back and Sam Cumming get back, that you got to watch one of them because one of them will eventually go forward and find a way to kick a goal. And I really loved it. And he had a massive collision with Isaac Heaney. And Sam Cumming did not slow down. And he hit that pack hard and he wasn't afraid of his shoulder, which is really good to see and shows that the kid's got some balls and he's not afraid to hit the pack really hard and not too worried. Jasper Alga, I was a big fan of Jasper Alga, but Michael's claimed him as his boy. I was really keen on Jasper Alga. Me and Michael have been saying for ages that he needs to play. Kicked 3 goals, 6 disposals, 4 marks, 4 tackles. Really loved his game and it was good to see him back out there and sort of showing why the club picked him. As I always said, that Jasper is that hybrid player. He's not too tall, but he's not too small. He has the speed for the on ground, but also has a good leap as well. It's why I think he's going to be sort of that real good duo player. Sort of when his body fills out, I think he might be able to play that Josh Cuddy role. Noel Robert Thompson kicked a goal as well. A little crummer. He said he kicked 5-6 goals since his debut, which is really good to see. Kelty Lefau kicked a goal. I thought he presented well. Used his big body, but not much he really can do. And also, the snack pack kicked his first goal and a good little snap off a crumb, which is real good to see. Sort of reward for effort, how hard he's been trying. Look, and he to be honest, it's not super. He only had 8 hit-outs, and that's a concern for a person who's 205 centimetres. He just sort of can't seem to get to the ball, and it's a concern for me as well. But that's being said, that's some of the players I wanted to talk about, and then we'll go straight into the good, bad, and ugly. and then we'll go into the bye. And I think during the week, I'll still post up some content, but it's mostly just going to be maybe some drafting stuff and some free agency stuff, sort of because we're not going to be playing. But my good, I think, would be Sam Cumming. There's 16 disposals in a goal, and I think the consistency that he's getting in his body and the trust he's getting in his body to be able to play at this level is really making me really happy, and it shows why the club was so high on him and getting him in that pick. I still believe a lot of clubs were really hoping that he slipped past Richmond's pick, but I was so glad that Richmond took him at that pick 7. So I think he's showing us in spades why he's going to be a star. And I can see why they're rating very similar to the Isaac Heaney type of player that he'll be. My bad will be probably the Gumboot brigade. It really does start to irritate me, and I called it last year, but I'm going to keep harping on about it until hopefully one day it's fixed. We can't play Ross, Taranto, Hopper, and Prestia, all 4 of them, in the same team. Not saying they're bad players. I know they've had some slumps, but besides, in my personal opinion, Taranto is really the only one who can play a dual role. I think Taranto can play as a forward and kick goals. I don't think Ross really can. I think he can pinch hit, but at a necessity. Prestia, I don't believe can go forward. He doesn't have the pace anymore or the size, and I just don't think Hopper can as well. So my bad would be the Gumboot brigade. My ugly, I think maybe would be the smashing, the absolute whopping we got of 114 points. As Adam Uze said, we got taught a lesson. Hopefully the boys can walk away from this and learn something, as well as Adam Uze from this loss. You need to change a bit of what you do and how you do things, because as we can see, it's not working, and I know we're not going to win every game, but we went backwards this game. We've had what felt like about a month of good form, and showing some stuff, showing some class, showing some improvement, and it now feels like we've gone back 2 steps. So that's something that I think is really ugly, that we shouldn't ever be going backwards. I think we should always be finding ways to go forward, and I definitely felt this game was a 2 steps backwards sort of performance. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Let me give me your good, bad, and ugly. Hit the like and subscribe, and keep an eye out for more content, because there definitely will be. As always, guys, go the Tigers.